And we are live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the
Evening, guys.
Live. Hey, Andy, how you doing, mate?
All right, mate. Nice to see you.
And you.
Happy Friday.
And you. Happy
Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Friday the 13th. And we have had a little bit of bad luck, haven't we, on this
We
Friday?
have, mate. A little bit. One
of our crew has gone down sick.
Yeah.
The Sam the Imaginary Man. So it means that we're going to have to carry on without any tech support. But we'll do it because that's what we do.
Skin of our teeth.
Yeah. And we've got well, you're actually a guest as well tonight, aren't you, Andy?
Right,
you feature in this. Yeah, you feature in this comic.
I will be. It's a very fast-moving, prolific group of people who've rattled out 4, potentially 5 comics in a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think the challenge of it is that it's a 60-page comic. It's a digest format, and anyone that can commit to drawing 60 pages of comics whilst in being underground, indie, small press, whatever you want to call us, is a massive achievement. So it's exciting.
Can't wait to talk to these guys. We've got 5 other guests on tonight. So we're just going to run the intro and then we'll be straight into the episode. And here we are.
Wow, look at that.
Evening, gents.
Look at all that.
Episode.
Evening, guys.
Hello.
How you doing?
It's that bit. It's like that bit at school, isn't it, where all the kids say the teacher's name in unison. Hello, Mr. Chansey. Don't do that. So we've got 1 hour to get through all you guys to talk about your work, to talk about the comic that you're putting out, and it's going to be a fast-paced show because of that. So I'm going to start though with our co-host, Mr. Andrew Richmond, who is going to be involved, I believe, in a forthcoming issue of the Sentinel. Isn't that right, Andy?
Fingers crossed. I mean, it's down to Alan. He's such a prolific writer. He's throwing scripts out left, right, and centre. I think we're all very lucky to know people like him that can write a good, solid 60-page script.
It did help you came in my shop. It helped you came in my shop and bought stuff.
Well, that's how it should work, though. I mean, that's what would be happening at Comic Cons. We'd all be chatting at a Comic Con. We don't have those at the moment. We don't have the Comic Cons. So
we're doing this instead.
Shops and stuff to meet each other.
So, Alan,
were you that much, by the way?
were you the brainchild behind the comic then, Alan? Was it your idea, or did you evolve this with Ed, or how did it come about, the Sentinel?
It came about, just Sentinel, not the Sentinel.
Sorry, yes,
I should
know better. I should know better because people call our band the Cosmic Rays, and it's just Cosmic Rays. So I get you there. I get you, mate. I get you.
I've got an album, very good.
Oh, thank you.
Plug. Last October, so just over a year ago, me and Ed were chatting online because we've been working together on Gronk scripts mainly for Sector 13. And Ed sent a message saying, Should I do the accent? No, best not. He sent me a message saying, I think we should bring back Starblazer. So
he's not impressed. He's not impressed.
No, he said, I want to bring back Starblazer. And I'm thinking, really? 64-page comics? I've never written anything more than a 5-page fanzine strip. And he persuaded me. And so I wrote a 6-page intro, just literally on the spot. And he drew it in about 12 minutes. People really liked it. And so we just went away. I just thought of the rest of the plot and made it time with the intro we'd already done. And it took him about half hour then to finish it off.
Wow!
So it's all Ed's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, you are super quick, Ed. I've been following your work for 2 decades now, and I've always been amazed how quickly you pump stuff out, mate. Honestly, I mean, how many pages are you creating at the moment for Sentinel each month?
Well, each copy is 64 pages, so I've already done 128, and and I have another one coming along.
That is so impressive, mate. It really is really impressive. I mean, it's like it's a professional work rate. A lot of pros can't manage that sort of work rate. Wow. And how do you find working with Alan on his scripts? Is he the sort of writer that really sort of sings to you, makes it work for you?
Yeah. His scripts are
you don't have to lie. You can tell the truth.
No, his scripts are just spot on. They're just he leaves it to the artist's imagination.
Yeah.
Saves on having to think. I like where I can. I like to write for an artist. Once we got going, for example, we got Morgan Gleave came in who likes doing animals. So I've written 2 animal-based script issues for him. Ed and me were both fans of Ray Harryhausen. So next year he's doing Hell on Harryhausen, sort of a theme park gone wrong based on Greek myths. And he also loves Hammer horror. So we've got Horror at Hammer House, which is full of actual appearances from classic Hammer horror monsters. So the Oliver Reed werewolf, that sort of thing. Peter Cushing, Van Helsing. Because he also does good likenesses too. So that's specifically for Ed, because I know he'd enjoy it. So sometimes I start with the artist before I even think of a story, and that artist's style and likes help shape what story I go for.
Right, and so Sentinel, is it a multi-genre anthology then? All different types of genres?
We just decided on science fiction, fantasy, and horror, which meant that we had to cover those 3 things as soon as possible. But so it's mainly science fiction. We got a fantasy story. We had the Dragons one in issue 2. Next year, Morgan's going to be doing Rover the Barbarian, which is an all-talking animal story about Rover, who's a barbarian. And yes, he's a dog. But weirdly, that's a completely straight story rather than a joke one. And horror, we've had Misty War issue 4, and obviously next year Horror at Hammer House. So there's Misty War, there's cover. So we're trying to cover the bases. I do personally, I prefer science fiction, but it's been an experience to write horror because I've never done it before.
I mean, how many stories have you actually got in? Prepared and in being progressed.
I was trying to work that out today. I don't know, probably about 10 or more in total.
Yeah, there's probably 2 or 3 years worth of.
I finished one today. That's taken. Started that on Monday, I think, and because the artist of Misty Moore, Ian Beadle, wanted a future war story, so I wrote a future war story about a team of psychic mercenaries.
Oh, I like the sound of that. You can't go wrong with psychic mercenaries, can you?
I mean, it would be amazing if it could become a monthly.
I wish.
If in like 2022, you just press it all, you get a dozen artists going. You get a dozen artists going. Boom. Bring it back properly.
If we can find that many talented people who don't like money, then we're in.
But because it's a digest, you're only drawing about 100 pictures.
Yeah, it's equivalent to about
frames, really.
It's equivalent to about a 25-page comic.
Yeah.
As in Marvel size. So it's still doing one a month. But I really like writing this format. It's a different challenge. But when to use full pages, when to use 2, 3, or 4 panels on each page, how to keep it moving rather than just stale with talking heads everywhere. But because I've always liked dialogue over action, so I do like to try and make the characters fun and interesting rather than just stale. And so with the war one, it was quite a challenge because obviously it's got to be a lot more action. But I guess I said to Ed the other day, it's easy to take. I get it. It's from Mark Millar. Really, he's one of my favourite comic authors these days. Is take a basic idea and add some fun and banter, and make that basic idea sing a bit.
And that's. I mean, are you the only writer in the anthology, Alan? So it's your voices that we hear throughout the book. Yeah. It
started out as it was just me and Ed, and we were going to do it. We didn't anticipate using anyone else. We never asked for anyone else, and artists just came along. Basically, they're like whores at the Playboy Mansion, and I'm Hugh Hefner.
I don't think you'd call them that, can you?
No, it's all right. They can't hear me. So what? They can hear me.
All right,
great so. Just had a message from Englishman in San Diego, otherwise known as Leonard Sultana. Evening, chaps. Evening, Len.
Hey, Len.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. We've had a message from Andy Hayes. Hi guys, the Sentinel. No, it's just
lowercase
Sentinel.
T. Lowercase T.
You got to buy a T-shirt for that, Andy.
The complete one and done a story format is deal for an indie comic. I think he's saying it's good value for money Andy. There. Yeah, nice one, Andy. So we'll move on to Dave Metcalf. What is your role, sir, in the comic, and what is your story?
Evening all. I'm one of the artists, and I'm working on a future noir, I believe Alan said it was, called...
That's what you asked for.
It is. I asked for people and explosions because that's all I can draw. But Ed said that I could come in because I can do lettering. So it gives him a break. Because he's actually high under a bushel. He's not just drawn 2 issues. He's lettered all 4 so far. And I think his wife's happy for the piece.
Definitely.
That's true, Ed. Yeah. So I was going to ask about lettering actually, because obviously you got writer, you got artists. Have you got a designated letterer, or does it just fall to the artists?
It's been Ed so far, but I'm a letterer. Philippo's a letterer. We've both done lettering for Paragon and other small press. I did all the lettering for Roll Hurst's Too Much Sex and Violence, which was a nightmare because it was about 8 different artists per issue, doing 3 pages, and none could actually get to fit on the same sheet. So there's a lot of fun in that, but it's, for me, I love lettering. So Ed was very glad I came along and did it.
I mean, it's so important, the lettering. A lot of indie books do fall down in that area, I think, because, everyone's so keen to do the fun bits, the art, writing the stories, putting it out there, making the covers look great. And by the way, you guys have, done some lovely covers. But sometimes the lettering does get forgotten, and the indie books especially, it just falls down. So it's nice to see that, you guys are taking it seriously. And I'll just zoom in on you there, Ed, if that's all right, so we can have a look at that cover.
That is Andy Lambert.
That's Andy's.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So which issue is that one, Ed?
Issue 2.
Right. And how are you guys making this happen financially, Ed? Is it through Kickstarter?
Yeah. All Kickstarter shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And have all the issues run on Kickstarter?
Yeah, every one of them.
Brilliant. And you've had 6. I understand that the latest issue, the next issue due out, has just hit its mark on Kickstarter already.
Yeah, funded on the first day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, how many supporters does it require you to get funded? How many people does that mean have pledged?
I think at the moment it's about 50. I
Wow.
think. Yeah.
That's really good. Like so soon off the bat to get 50 people for a UK indie comic. That's amazing, mate. Well done.
We tend to do 80 to 90 through Kickstarter each time.
Right.
I mean, it's not huge. It does help. The whole point with me and Ed when we started it wasn't to make money. We tried to estimate how much we'd need to not lose money. So the whole point of Sentinel was to entertain people, amuse ourselves, and not pay for the privilege. Yeah. So anyone that comes into Sentinel, basically, if they don't want to work on that same principle, that's fine. They don't have to. They can go elsewhere. But we try and make it clear up front that we're doing this because we love comics and want to put out a comic, and there's nothing more to it. If we earn a few £100 out of it, so much the better.
Yeah,
but people will look at the fact that you've hit £1,000 and think that that's profit. But what people don't understand with Kickstarter is that Kickstarter takes a percentage. It also the postage and packaging as well has to come out of it, and the print.
It covers what we've done is each issue we print 150 standard copies, 100 limited cover copies which won't be reprinted. We do cover prints for both, and that's obviously the postage and packing as well. And whatever's left over goes between the writer and the artist. And we also pay for the alternative cover art as well, usually £100. Yeah, we were I was most chuffed when we got Hunt Emerson in for issue 3 on the alternative cover. And that was great.
There you go.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'll just zoom in on that one.
At my request, he put Firkin the cat in the back of the cab.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
See, that was me spending £100 of Kickstarter money to amuse myself. It was great.
Yeah,
worth every penny though. I mean, what a bargain! £100 for Hunt Emerson. Wow, you did well there.
And did you get to keep the original art as well?
No, it was digital only, unfortunately.
Oh.
What we're trying to move towards is with the cover art alternative artists, we're going to try and get people physical so that we can sell it as to pay for itself, basically on the Kickstarter. Like we did with Neil Sims did one.
As well as the alternative covers, what other sort of special extras can people get on the Kickstarter?
That's sort of it so far. That's all we've done is the covers and the prints. You can either get the normal cover, special cover, or both with a set of prints is what we've come down to. We charge £5 for both prints, £4 for the normal cover, £7 for the alternative, £10 for both, and £15 for both with nice A4 cover prints. What we're trying this time round is a T-shirt, because some people ask for T-shirts, so this is a bit of a risk. I might end up losing a few quid. So we've taken the alternative cover for this one, which is by, the name has fallen off my head. Ed?
Mark Montague, who
was the 2000 art star. He's done a fantastic cover, ridiculously Conan the Barbarian, but it suits the story and it's really nice. So we've got that on a black T-shirt on the front, and on the shoulders is the Sentinel logo. And we've managed to do them for £20 posted to cover all the costs. But I need to sell about 25. So
are they screen printed? Are they screen printed T-shirts?
As far as I know, it's a local company that's doing it for me. But
it'd be nice if it's like a sort of a proper rock and roll heavy metal shirt.
Something
big, heavy, big, heavy print on it.
We shall see what comes out, and then if it works, we can do it. We can do it again in the future. But I love having T-shirts.
Go on, Dave.
So I have offered for my issue to do an OnlyFans photo shoot for the Kickstarter. But I think that might be a little bit niche.
Do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think you should. A nude live drawing class. But where the artist has got clothes on and you haven't.
Yeah, you've got to where to put your pencils.
Behind your ear.
Yeah, I can tell you where to put them, Dave.
When you see the art come through, you probably will do.
Can I just introduce you, just while we're here, to Andy Lambert?
Yes,
Andy did the cover that Ed held up for issue 2, which is what if the Romans had discovered an island with dragons on and enslaved and bred them for years and become gladiators and slaves. So Andy did a Gladiator Dragons cover. Now Andy, in my eyes, I would say, is one of my favourite artists in the UK. I absolutely love his stuff. And when it eventually turns up, Andy, it's brilliant. He's the opposite of Ed in that respect, but wonderful. So I think you should talk to Andy.
Oh, well, I was just about to
Take that,
Andy. Full screen treatment, Andy. So what, do you do interior art as well, Andy, then? Have we got something to look forward to?
I am working on a strip for the future called The Pack. It's a kind of action stroke horror stroke war. Should I go into the details, Alan? Or not?
Go on.
Tell us what
give
it's
the flavour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a group of secret special trained soldiers on a secret mission to take out this enemy fort. But they are a secret weapon. They are actually werewolves. They don't have to wait for the full moon to turn into wolves. They have an injection in the neck, like a chemical kind of thing.
Right.
That triggers the transformation, and so they go into the fort and basically tear it apart.
Literally.
Yeah.
And stuff happens.
Yeah. Another stuff happens that we're not going to tell you about.
I forgot what happens because it was so long ago, Andy, that I'd forgotten.
I think there's a little bit of a dig going on there, Andy.
It's worth the wait. That's the good thing about having all the different artists, because everyone goes at a different speed, and we're not tied into any publication schedule, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, issue 4 was supposed to be issue 2, but Ian Beadle took a long time to do it because he's busy and he's a slower artist. And when it turned up, it was absolutely worth the wait. It's an absolutely beautiful issue, and I know that Andy's will be the same. He's shown us a few pages, and I think to a man we were just blown away.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some of that artwork, Andy. Can you hold it up to the screen? And we'll have a look at it. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Well, that's lovely. So who would you say your influences are, Andy, as an artist? Who sort of inspired you to draw comics?
Well, the only comics that I used to really read as a kid, and now still as an adult, would be 2000 AD, maybe Doctor Who Weekly. So I think Brian Bolland was probably my favourite.
I can definitely see a bit of Bolland in some of those pages.
I have been told by quite a few people that I've got a bit of a Bolland-esque approach, which is hugely flattering. I'm sure I don't deserve it, but it's nice.
It's no bad thing. Yeah, it's no bad thing, mate.
No, thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that. That's really good stuff, mate. Thank you very much for that. No worries.
And we've got one more artist that we need to introduce. Filippo, you are an artist on this book, and what is the story that you're illustrating?
It's called Monkey Magic. It's a future sports story.
Monkey Magic. I think I've heard that somewhere before. So it's nothing to do with the Monkey King from mythology, then.
No. It's a future sports story.
Right, and so what's Monkey? Is he a mutant character, or what sort of character is he?
The girl. It's a young girl.
It's a girl.
To control the boards, the sportsters have to get their feet operated on. But Monkey's own feet. What would you call it, Alan?
Prehensile. Prehensile, yeah. So she doesn't need the operation that the professional players of the sport have to have. And so her nickname is Monkey because of it.
Got you. So
the trickiest part was inventing a sport. I've been reading a lot of football picture weeklies, football picture monthlies that DC Thompson used to put out. And I just wanted to do a sports story. And so the usual underdog comes good type thing. And so it's like, okay, I know what sort of story I want to do. What's the sport? Because you got one of my favorite ever strips is Harlem Heroes. And so what I eventually came up with was a cross between sky surfing and hurling, the Gaelic sport. And so you've got people flying around on small little skateboards type things, whacking a ball with a big paddle and trying not to fall in the water and trying to score goals. And I think it works out quite well. It's quite a logical sport. But that was literally the hardest thing about writing it, was inventing a sport.
Yeah, that's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? Inventing a whole sport for a story. And it's hard sometimes because you see a lot of these sports they make up on like sci-fi shows, and they're a bit corny, and you just think, yeah, that's not that wouldn't be a real sport. No one's going to go to the effort of making that.
I tell you, if this is a real sport, it would be very exciting.
Yeah, it sounds really good. And so when you create a story, do you have one of these guys in mind, Alan? Do you sort of right, that is definitely, because you said before you wrote 4 people, so do they come to you then, I want to do this? Or is there ever a situation where you have a story and you think, who's going to write this? Who's the best guy to be involved in this?
Obviously at the start it was Ed, and I didn't know what Ed could and couldn't draw, so we just sort of went for it. I know we can draw most things, but I now know he doesn't like sports and superheroes. So when Filippo, we didn't know what he would like to do, and I offered him the sports story, and he was happy to do it, which is great. With Andrew, again, I knew he could draw, but I didn't know what he particularly liked, and he wasn't fussed. And I wrote a superhero story a couple of weeks ago, which he was very happy to do. And from what he's put out so far and showed us, he's doing a cracking job. With Andy, it was a case of, I know, again, Andy can draw. I assume he can draw anything, but I do know he does very good werewolves. And so I wanted something with werewolves in. So we had werewolf squaddies because it sounds cool.
You can't go wrong with werewolves, really, can you?
Exactly. I used to be a werewolf. I'm not going to finish the joke.
No, it's a classic. It's a classic.
But I'm all right now.
My dad used to tell me that joke at least once a week when I was a kid. We've had another message from
look how you turned out.
Well, indeed, yeah. We'll blame my dad. Andy Hayes. Andy, that looks awesome. So that's a comment from the artwork earlier. So
cheers, Andy.
Thank you very much.
Andy is a fan of the comic. Thank you for saying that, Andy. One of our loyal readers.
Right, since issue 1, yeah?
Sorry?
Was that you, Dave?
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. I got confused. I thought he was talking to himself when he said Andy. Andy, that's great.
There's lots of them.
Hey.
The common name.
It gets confusing when there's more than one Andy, doesn't it?
I'll be Andy, you be Andrew.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Just to go back to you, actually, Dave, because we did a little intro, but we didn't really find out much about you. How did you get into comics, mate? What was your sort of inspiration?
Many years ago. I probably about 92. I left out of college, and all I wanted to do was draw comics. And at the same time, Royal Hearst was releasing The Jock, and it was odd that there was 2 people. I was in Bradford, he was in Huddersfield, and we knew each other from the letter columns in DC Comics because we were both letter hacks. And we sort of sent stuff around all the English-based letter hacks because you could do then. Their addresses were in the back of the DC Comics. And it sort of worked on from there. But I just didn't want to do stuff that I couldn't read anywhere else. So I ended up doing like slice of life stuff. And I was asked to describe what I did the other week. And I said, Ken Loach does comics is my usual stuff. It's all sort of kitchen sink drama, but I like to do other bits and pieces. So I do a bit of adventure stuff, I do a bit of detective stuff, and when I fancied having a crack at something different, so I contacted Alan, and from then on, my life's been stuck on Messenger.
So I'm getting the impression you guys talk a lot online. You know, you exchange
we
ideas.
talk a lot of crap. I don't know about it. But basically, we pitch stuff around each other, see what people think. It's quite a good little network for doing stuff like that. And then I just make slightly racist comments towards Ed, but through his Irishness, and that's about it.
And how do you feel about that, Ed?
Oh, it's all good fun, yeah.
But it's good that we've had this group this last few months, because obviously we've gone through lockdown together. Some of us have been furloughed, some of us have been working from home, some of us have had mad times, some of us have really bad times, and it's been a good support network.
Yeah. I think that sort of camaraderie, you know, it'll serve you well going forward. You know, when you get to the point where you're on issue 20 and tempers start to fray. You know, you can look back to these times when you all stuck around with each other and supported each other, and it does. You need that when you've got that many creative people. I mean, do you have any times at the moment where there's like egos sort of battling and stuff like that, or is it really easy? Does it flow?
It's easy.
Yeah, flows. Yeah.
But I think in these times, what's the point of having an ego?
Well,
we've all got to support ourselves, haven't we? Who knows what struggle 8 hours a day, or we know someone might be a doctor or a frontline worker. Just because we love drawing comics doesn't mean that's the main thing. So this is a good way of letting off steam. Without art, I don't think I would have survived the furlough and lockdown. Without my drawing every single day was my focus. And I managed to churn out hundreds of drawings and same sort of amount of pages as well of comics.
And at the same time, Andrew, I'm the completely opposite. I'm still working full time. Yeah. But I've also got another 3 or 4 comic projects on the go at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So I feel at times that I'm letting the rest of the guys down by not being as fast as I should be, because I'm swapping around different things.
What are we going to do? Take it out your wages?
Well, yeah.
There's wages. I'd pay you to do this.
But I mean, what I've had to develop is you put an hour or 2 in the morning, you do your 8-hour day job, and then do another 2 or 3 hours at night. And that's the only way I've managed to keep the output going. It's crazy. We're doing like 12 hours a day work.
You find the time somehow, don't you? If you love what you do, you find the time. It's like with this on doing these podcasts. I mean, we do this show twice a week. I also record 2 podcasts a week, audio podcasts a week. You find the time because you've got a passion for it. And I think that's what creative people have to do to stay sane. Just had a comment from James Gray, who I think we all know. Without art, I wouldn't have survived lockdown. Totally agree. I think we all, James, Has James worked for you guys in Sentinel?
No.
Get him on. Eh?
There you go.
He hasn't come crawling yet.
Would you be interested in working with these guys, James? Let us know on the comment.
No swearing.
James, I will apologise. James had to put up with me at the last ice, sat talking to him, so he's probably going to run.
You got him in a corner.
Well, no, because he's sharing a table with Jason Cobley,
right?
Who I've known for years. So I was having a natter with him, and I have to thank those 2 guys, because a couple of years ago I ended up hospitalised, and Jason teaches at a school around the corner from where I live. So he just threw a copy of that in, and it really cheered me up.
Jason is a good guy, actually. I think we've all probably known Jason for a long time. He's been prominent on the small press scene since before my time, even with the Bulldog stories that he wrote. another like great writer with a real vision, you know.
Yeah, he's also just written this, which came out this week, the latest Commander.
And he also wrote Keiko Panda as well.
Yes,
that
Keiko
went into Brawler. That I illustrated the second one, so I drew that.
Right. So Keiko Panda is still around. I remember reading the first Keiko Panda story in Bulldog.
I've done the last one. I've done the latest one in Brawler.
Wow.
So Brawler hit its massive target.
I backed it.
Yeah.
I did really well, and it's coming out at Christmas, I hope.
I remember chatting with Jason when he was thinking of launching it because he wanted to do something like Warrior. I just said, crack on with it. It's a good idea. It's something that needs coming back. And now we've got Sentinel, which is like the Star Blaze. We've got 77, like 2000 or Action or whatever.
Yeah.
That sort of retro vibe is working wonders.
Yeah. And Ed, would you say that there's a really good sort of cooperation between all the indie publishers at the moment? Because I've noticed there's a lot of sort of, projects that are coming out at the same time. There's a lot of cross promotion. So, unlike in the respectable mainstream, as they might call it, where they're in competition, you guys seem to be really supporting each other.
No. Yep. The community is very strong, Shane.
Yeah,
it seems
it is. Yeah, no, it's a good community spirit. Yeah,
it's great stuff. Another comment from Andy Hayes. Art has also helped me during lockdown.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear it, Andy.
And we're in the smack bang in the middle of lockdown 2. Apparently.
Yeah, lockdown Mark 2. From James Gray, a lovely bloke and deserves more credit is Jason. Yeah, we'll all go with that one. I think definitely. Should be a superstar. Laying out issue 2 now. All right. You still haven't answered that question, James. Will you come and do a story for Sentinel? Let us know, please. Put him on pressure there, aren't I? It's a bit unfair. Really.
Alan, write one about motorbikes. He'll do it.
All right. I like motorbikes. We can do that. And huge crowd scenes. I know you all love those.
Yeah.
That's everybody's favourite, isn't it?
I made Ed do a gladiatorial arena.
Are there any of the artists among you? Any of the artists among you who like drawing horses?
Draw anything. Draw anything.
Tumbleweed.
Horses. You said horses or asses?
Horses, not arses. Yeah, we all know you like drawing arses.
I can draw asses.
An ass's arse.
You've got a lot of models here for you now, Alan, if you want to draw some asses.
It's not that sort of show.
That's not what it said in the email.
Well, I just wanted to get you on.
So, who's up next then? So we've got the Barbarian strip that's already on.
Well, the next one in January, February, will be Bad Kitty, which is the debut of Morgan Gleave. And it's about again, Morgan said to me he loves Harry Harrison, the Stenisaur Rat, that sort of thing. And so do I. So the thing was, again, a light-hearted space romp, if you will, about a thief called Carlos Harrison. So Carlos Esquire and Harry Harrison, because my name's always reference some crap. And he wants to steal a valuable piece of a mineral called Flymon, which a dog got lucky and discovered a whole load of it on his pitch, and his name is everyone calls him Lucky Dog. So he tries to steal this from the dog, and gets caught. And the dog hires him to protect him against his alienated sibling, who's a cat. So his family of dogs adopted a cat. All the dogs hated the cat and tortured him relentlessly, but now the cat's come back and is offing him one by one, and he wants Carlos to help protect him from the cat. The cat's called TC, which is short for The Cat, which is my cat's name, TC the Cat. There was a part in it where the cat needed a spaceship, and there's a band called Cats in Space, who's one of my favourite bands, and their mascot is a cat head-shaped spaceship, because they're all graphic designers. They had fantastic stuff. So I got onto the band and asked if we could use that design in the comic, and they said fine. And the alternate covers just a picture of that of the spaceship as well. And so yeah, we're looking forward to that. So yeah, it's a fun one, a fun romp, if you will.
Sounds it, mate. Sounds it. And Filippo, just to ask you the question I've asked everybody else, what was your inspiration for getting into comics, mate? Who was your sort of main influence?
I don't know about influence, but I've always read comics on the days, and always drew.
Would you say your influences were also then largely from outside of comics as well? You know, different types of artists, and movies and things like that, perhaps.
I would say it was comic. Based on it's comics, but I'm not sure who I would say my influences are. 2000 AD is the one I've read all my days.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys, there's a common theme, isn't there? That I think you're all definitely 2000 AD fans, no doubt about that. But sometimes, you know, with artists, you get a surprise. You know, someone will say, "Oh yeah, I'm into Michelangelo," or "I'm into," you know, they'll say some Marvel artist that you wouldn't think they'd be a fan of because you can't see it in their work, you know, and it can really surprise you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you put him on the spot.
Put him on the spot. Oh, bless.
Wait,
sorry about that.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, we were all
just listens.
We were all expecting the Bruins to come up at some point.
That's been all times since I read them.
Oh, Willie.
Hey, old Wally. Classic.
Yeah.
Can we all remember the first comic that we bought with our own money?
Yeah.
That's always one I find is interesting. Andy, start with you. Andy, not Andrew. We'll start with you on that one.
First comic that I can remember buying.
Yeah, with your own money, not with your parents' money.
I seem to remember. I think there was a comic. I can't.
Yes, a
I don't know if
comic.
it was. I can't remember if it was British produced or reprinted from Marvel or whatever. I think it was called Valor.
Yeah.
And it was kind of. I
Future
seem to remember.
Tense and Valor, wasn't it?
Yeah. I seem to remember.
I used to get Valor with Conan the Barbarian and Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what I remember, the Conan and the dinosaur.
Yeah.
I seem to remember getting that. I also remember, I think, did you used to get like little pocket-sized books of Dracula?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chiller, yeah.
It
was
Pocket
Marvel
Chillers.
Digest.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's, I seem to remember getting those.
So that's about 81, 82.
Yeah. I would have been about, what, 10, 12?
Yeah.
Cool. They were good. Those little pocket chillers. Really good value, you know.
Yeah.
Like 15p. Again, digest. You know, a digest comic.
Yeah. I love the format. The digest format is really cool. You know, it's definitely not utilized enough, is it, guys?
Do you remember the Micronauts?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I remember getting that as well.
Wow. Yeah, there was 2 series, I think, of Micronauts in the 80s. Early 80s, wasn't it? Michael Gold.
They were in one of the digests as well, but it was I forget the name of it. Was it Future Tense?
Oh, possibly. It might have been. Yeah.
No, that's a big one. Yeah, Future Tense.
Possibly. Alan, what was the first comic you remember buying with your own money? And don't say
with my own money. I mean, my mum bought my 2000 AD for many years. But I think the first one I bought myself was the Super Spider-Man TV Weekly with Cobra on the cover, and I remember the cover exactly. Either that or at the same sort of time, it would be the Marvel Spider-Man pocketbook the black and white one with Daredevil and the Ringmaster on the cover. Now, I remember those 2 issues as being very early ones. And I bought those Spider-Man reprints for a long time after that.
Well, they were great, weren't they? It was a great way of being able to see those classic stories, wasn't it?
Yeah, and one of my favourite bits were the Tim Quinn and Dickie Howard cartoons, which is where I get a daft sense of humour still.
Marvel 33 and a third.
Yeah, and the incredible Dennis the Hulk or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just reminded me Asterix.
Hulk the Menace, is it? Hulk, Asterix. I love Asterix.
Can't go wrong with Asterix. Yeah, definitely.
But we'd be getting those
radio?
But we'd be getting those from the library, the Asterix books. I always remember getting them from the library because they were expensive.
Yeah,
as a kid.
We had a traveling library that used to come around the village that I lived in.
That's cool.
It was one of those like it's split in half and it like an articulated van or whatever. And they used to have Asterix and Tintin books in it. I remember those. Absolutely fantastic. Right, I'm going to try not to put you on the spot here, Filippo, but can you remember the first comic you bought with your own money?
Just say Willie.
Well, my grandfather used to always buy my comics. But,
Same here,
I remember going on a school trip with school to Germany, and we stopped at a service station down south, and it was a copy of the House of Hammer magazine.
Oh, yeah.
So this would be 1978. Had never seen them before.
What was the cover? Which one was it?
If I remember correctly, it was a Star Wars one.
Right. So the photo cover.
The photo cover, yeah. But it was because it was Hammer. I was into watching the horror movies used to get shown Friday and Saturday nights and that. And that was obviously up in Scotland. We never got them in the bag in the news agents. So this was I bought that. And that's what I read when I went to Germany.
But interestingly enough, Des Skin, who did the Hammer magazine, has just done the little digest versions of those comics. So the comics that we printed in the 70s, he's doing the little ones, and I got 4 of them on the way, and they're beautiful.
Oh wow! Yeah,
I've picked up the Van Helsing Terror Tales.
Yeah, did you get that off of Des?
Yeah.
He's published some good stuff in his time, hasn't he, Des? He really has.
Probably all the comics we were just talking about.
Yeah, that's the thing. All this British stuff that he brought out, all the American stuff, that he brought over, for the British audiences. We've got a lot to thank Des for, apart from his abrasiveness. He really has done an amazing job.
He's probably been a bigger influence than Pat Mills down through the years.
Yeah.
Pat Mills was a great writer. Des Skin was the one who brought all the comics, especially the early 70s, to us.
But also a lot of diversity as well. A lot of diverse, interesting stuff like Starburst.
Yeah.
I think was it Starburst he launched as well, the science fiction mag?
He launched that. Weekly.
Yeah, loads of.
I'll have to get Des on here at some point, actually.
And Warrior, of course,
Yeah.
Fantastic Warrior.
Yeah, a huge influence on everybody, that one, wasn't it? Warrior. Anyway.
That was another time we hardly got up in Scotland.
Yeah.
So in Scotland, did you just get the odd reprint then? You didn't get any of the American stuff or anything like that?
Very rarely. It was the UK reprints of the DC and Marvel stuff in the early 70s.
But when we were kids, though, I mean, in Derbyshire in the 70s, the comic rack was just full. In a newsagent, it was just full of adventure comics. British Warlord.
It was the British.
All manner of cool stuff.
We had all them.
You'd only find when you went on holiday. If you went to Skegness or Mablethorpe or somewhere.
Yeah. So, Filippo, so you had like stuff like Warlord and Battle and all that. You could enjoy all that stuff.
Yeah, we had all the IPC and the DC Thompson.
Yeah.
But as I say, things like Warrior, House of Hammer.
Wow.
even we never even got Daredevils.
Oh, really? Oh,
Right.
No. So it wasn't until the collected edition of Captain America came out that I got the Alan Moore Captain Britain.
Oh, that was a great little collection, wasn't it? Yeah, I bought that as soon as it came out. And okay, we'll move on to Ed. What's your first comic brought with your own money, mate?
This one.
There you go.
Yeah.
That actual copy?
No, I actually picked this up a couple of months back, but it was the first one that I picked up back in 1980. I was 7 actually. So yeah.
Oh, I was going to say that's in good nick.
Yeah. Shane, I just want to show you some artwork from the artists that are not here, Ian Beadle and Paul Spence.
Yes, please do, mate. Please do. Yeah.
First off is Paul Spence. His artwork is absolutely fantastic. It's very Massimo Bernardinelli style.
Ah,
You can see that.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Nice. Really nice.
That's
We've had a message from Paul Spence. Hi all, just having a quick gander. Hey.
The NHS in action.
There you go, Paul.
Showing off your artwork.
For issue 4, I want to show Ian Beadle's work, which is very good as well. Very moody.
Some tones going on there as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Scary stuff.
Yeah, it looks a bit scary actually. I'm scared now.
It is. I wrote a very dark story, and he made it darker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, brilliantly so. I was so happy with that.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that stuff, Ed.
Ed, wasn't that Ian's first ever long form comic?
Yeah.
As well?
Yeah. Both Paul and Ian's, they're both first time. Yeah. That's actually Paul's cover for issue 3.
Wow. And how did you guys meet up with? How did you guys recruit Paul and Ian? Did they come to you, or was it? Or did they sort of find you out?
Ian, we had seen Ian's work online, and the same for Paul. He was producing. The two of them were producing work for the 1977 page, so they were doing 2000 AD stuff. So I just started talking to them, and they started talking to Alan as well. So yeah.
And the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, rest is history, yeah.
Excellent. And Dave, the question to you, mate. What was the first comic that you bought with your own money?
It's a tough one, because I grew up right in the middle of the Yorkshire Dales, and we didn't have a newsagent for about 15, 20 miles.
Bloody hell.
We just had like things drawn on leaves. Or cave paintings. When we do the harvest, I wish we just had fields. We didn't have cobbled streets to walk up. My mum used to bring stuff back from work, so she'd bring back Tornado and Jackpot. And then when I went to secondary school and I was in civilization, I used to get Battle. The new Eagle is the one that I remember most going out to find. But the cafe in the bus station used to have, by the door, it had racks of American imprints where you get something 1 month and then you'd never see it again for 3 months.
Yeah.
I was at the rebellious age then, so I just used to open the door, grab some and run. So I couldn't really say any of them, but I'd say
they don't count.
Probably Eagle.
Eagle? Wow.
Probably the new Eagle, yeah. I loved Ortiz's stuff on Tower King. I loved the slightly dodgy racism of Thunderbolt and Smokey.
Was that the photo strip, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the football one, which Phil Parks of West Ham fame turned up in for some reason. Probably because the photographer lived round the corner from Upton Park.
Most likely.
Yeah. But of course, you had Jerry Embleton on Damn Dare, and then Oliver Frey, and then Ian Kennedy. So for artists, it was a godsend.
Yeah.
And they had proper full colour painting stuff well before Bisley.
But it's that interesting mix, like you're saying, of sport and comics, and then photo strips as well of like Fumetti.
Doom Lord, yeah. And Mannix, where it was all 3 in 1 because he was the robot with the deliberately drawn on bits.
Yeah, they used to paint on it. Yeah. And they had, was it one of the Peter Cushing sort of the collector?
The collector, yeah. Pat Wright did the drawing stuff for that at the beginning and end. It was beautiful.
It's it was the fisherman, and then I think there was a drawing at the end. He's like a little boy and his dad were fishing, and then the alien came, and it was like an alien. I think that was one of the first issues.
They threw him back because they were too small, if I remember right. I've just bought the first 2 years of Eagle off one of the guys on the Commando site, and a lot of it holds up really well, but then you get Thunderbolt and Smokey and Saddle Tramp, the Wild West stuff, and it's as racist as they could get away with. It's just you couldn't now call a black character Smokey without being accused of being Jim Davidson's offspring.
Yeah.
What about Sergeant Streetwise?
Oh, that was brilliant. The 80s model as the undercover cop.
Yeah. I used to love it.
Alan, I'd like to suggest that you write a photo strip for one of Sentinels. I've done a couple of photo strips, and they are great fun.
If we ever all go to a convention, I will write a photo strip for the day, and I'll take the photos, and we'll do a little Sentinel photo strip.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'll say now, if you guys want to do that, if you want to come and take your photos at ICE in Birmingham, I will give you all free tickets to come and make your photo strip at ICE.
Oh, I'll be there, no problem.
I'm normally there anyway, so
if we ever have it again, we'll be there. We'll have a table anyway.
I work there, so I get in and out anyway.
He gets in and out anyway. Yeah, he's one of the bods.
Why does someone's always get the dog in, haven't they?
Always.
Oh, he's adorable.
And we've got a message here from Ian Beadle, who was one of the team.
There we go.
Beano, Dandy.
Hey.
Yes, it was the first comics I bought. Anything really, just obsessed with artwork. Even at a young age, just used to spend all day drawing. Sorry, not there, guys. Oh, we're sorry you're not here too as well, Ian. He sent another message. Really good seeing you all in the flesh.
I think we tried one of these.
That's Ian's cover for if you want.
Right.
And Ian's the one that's going to be doing the war strip.
Right.
Because I made him for the last one. He drew nothing but teenage girls set in the 1980s. And he just wants to draw. He said, "I just want blokes in it and explosions." So because just to do something different. So we got quite a few explosions, lots of blokes, and a cat. It's got to have a cat in it.
What we didn't know is this is actually Ian, and he loves it when you tip his belly. He doesn't press work.
He's a good boy, aren't you, Ian?
Right, Ian. Yeah.
Guys, we're going to have to wind up in a minute. Can you just do one last plug for the current Kickstarter?
Yeah. Anything that you haven't already told us that you want to get
whoever wants to say it, Alan probably just tell everyone what they need to know.
Go, Alan.
Okay, the current Kickstarter, which runs for another couple of weeks, is a sword and sorcery full color painted by Ed. Took him quite a while to do. It's called Kazana the Slayer. It's if you like things like Slain, Conan, it'll be right up your street. Not too confusing. Lots of fun. Lots of gore. And it's in full colour, and we've also got some fantastic T-shirts to go with it as well for the first time. So please back our Kickstarter, buy back issues, enjoy comics, and support independent creators.
Yes, we'll go with that. Definitely, mate. Yeah. Woo!
Well done, mate. Well said.
And my answer to James Gray's question is, yes, you can come, but you need to draw a story for Sentinel first. All right?
Please, chicken out.
Well, thank you so much, guys, all of you, for coming along and talking to us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. It's been a really good laugh.
Thanks for having us.
An hour isn't long enough, really, is it, to get everything we want to say? But we will have you back again in the future, because I feel that Sentinel is going to be around for a long time. Yeah. So
we got a year's worth of books still to come.
Yeah. So let's come back in a year's time, and we'll talk about the new books that are coming out then. How's that sound?
The photo strip will be premiering.
Yes, definitely. Behind the scenes production video.
It's going to be called Ice Cold and Alex.
You heard it here.
I do my own crappy titles.
Well, good night, all of you. Have a great evening, and thanks a lot for coming on.
Cheers, Shane.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers, Shane.
Bye.
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 Bye.